Don't be ashamed to learn things that you need to know. Here's Sexplanations with Dr. Doe.
Sexplanations podcast, episode 19. I am Dr. Lindsay Doe, clinical sexologist and host of Sexplanations, the YouTube channel and the podcast. I have a private practice. I go on tour to schools and speak. You know, just doing all the sex ed I possibly can. And joining me in the amazing fight for comprehensive, accessible sex education is the amazing Stevie Boebi, my guest today.
Yay!
Hi. Yay! Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I am so honored that you're here. It's so cool. So what I'm thinking is that we'll talk about sexual injustices, because I'm guessing you have some things to say there. And then we'll do some fun things.
Cool.
Yeah?
I'm down for fun.
Before we get into it, let's do a shout out to our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/Sexplanations podcast. These individuals pledge at a level, which means they get a shout out and an awesome question in their honor. So Laura Schuster, Donna Flint, Maddie O'Sullivan, Paul Nixon, and the Millers, this is for you.
Dr. Doe is holding testes. She's holding testes.
The question is, and just multiple choice, if you don't get it, no worries. Regarding when homosexuality became legal in the United States. So in 1973 is when we took homosexuality out of the Diagnostic Statistical Manual as a mental illness or
78.
disorder. 78?
Is that what you said? 1978?
73.
73. Got it.
Yeah. What year, though, did it become legal to have same-sex relationships?
Do you mean federally, or do you mean all of the states got rid of their laws against sodomy because the what is it, Georgia or Louisiana? It's always Georgia or Louisiana, isn't it? Or Mississippi. Sorry,
yeah.
guys, shading ya. Because I think that was less than 10 years ago where they got rid of that.
Yes, you were. Well, so this says, since June 26th of blank year, sexual activity between consenting adults of the same sex as well as same-sex adolescents of a close age has been legal nationwide pursuant to the U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Lawrence v. Texas.
Oh, in Texas. Fuck. I don't know.
So I'll give you some choices.
Okay.
A, 1996, B, 2003, C, 2009, or D, 2015.
It's either 2003 or 2009, I think.
2003! Yay!
That's what I was going to guess.
Yay and boo, because
Yay, and
that's
also, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's way too recently, especially when we figured out, what would that be, 30 years prior?
So
that it wasn't a
went
mental
to
disorder.
The Texas Supreme Court, not the federal Supreme Court.
You know, I don't know anything about the law system on that particular
we can all
case.
have homosexual sex and it's not illegal.
Yeah, I did study Lawrence v. Texas, but I studied a lot of laws at the same time, and so it's hard for me to remember which one. If you know what it is, well, we can also look it up. Let us know in the comments, please. What sexual injustices are closest to your heart? And when you think about the battle or the activism that you do for sexuality, gender, etc.
Fuck. Everything for me. I don't know. I'm a lesbian, so everything that surrounds my sex and sexuality and who I am is political, and there's a lot of injustice. But right now, it's, for me, sex ed and how we aren't teaching anything about same-sex relationships at all. I think California just passed to where they have to mention it.
They have to mention same-sex relationships?
Yes.
Okay.
I think just sex. I'm not really sure. I need to look it up. But they just added to their, what do you call it, criteria?
Their curriculum.
Curriculum.
Yeah.
To include gender and queer sexualities.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's the first state to do it.
I mean, I'm
Yay.
really glad that they're doing it now, but very sad that it hasn't already been in the books for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Damn us. And so when you think about that being placed in the lesson plans of schools, do you feel like you have a direct connection to that? Is there something that you're going to do to kind of back it or rally for queer inclusion?
I don't know, because I'm not really coming from the education world. I guess I've just came from being a YouTuber and being an out lesbian, so I have no idea how to navigate that space. And so the reason I do my series called Lesbian Sex 101 is because it was missing. I guess I never, until you asked me that question, I never realized that I guess I could help like together
You can help, Stevie.
instead of being like, fuck the education system, I'm just going to do my own shit because it doesn't exist. I don't know. What do I do? Write a letter?
I mean, I think over dinner the other night we were talking about how you could participate in, writing that curriculum or presenting it or training the educators to not just be inclusive with what they're teaching, but how they're teaching it.
Yeah.
So now you are mandated to say the word lesbian and gay, but are you going to do that in a loving, open way? Or are you still going to be cruel and passive aggressive?
Or, I mean, I think that a lot of people, it's because of ignorance. Like they might not even, and also I think that because gay people are so over-sexualized, people that know that are scared to ask those questions to their gay and lesbian friends if they have them, So it's like, oh, I would ask my straight friend that's married, about her sex life if I'm a sex educator, and you're straight, but might be a little more scared to ask a lesbian or gay man or whatever. So yeah, I think even if there's not ulterior motives, I think sometimes it's like scary to navigate.
Well, no one taught them.
Yeah. And I do understand the worry, and I think it's a great worry. That's what people tell me usually. They're like, I just didn't know because I'm scared to ask. I think that it's a fucked up world where anytime I tell someone that I'm a lesbian, they immediately imagine the kind of sex that I have. And yet I was never taught how to have sex. So it's like, what the fuck?
So what are some of the questions that you love being asked or that you want to give permission to people to ask?
Oh, God. Ask to others? I think that everyone should just start asking questions. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. I think that,
what's your favorite position?
Yeah. Or how do you have sex? I mean, a lot of people, though, if you're not friends with them, obviously that's like a gray area. You don't want to just walk up to someone at a bar and be like, oh, you're a lesbian? Do you scissor? Because holy shit, we get that all the time. But if you're close to someone, if you're colleagues with someone and you are an educator, and if it's coming from a place where you're like, I teach sex ed, or, I want to be able to talk to kids about this, and I have a gay kid in my class, and I'm a teacher, even if you don't teach sex ed, whatever it is, I feel like most LGBT people I know are definitely like, yes, how can we help the kids? So it's not going to be like, ooh, how dare you? And I think there's a big difference between asking for information that you can use as opposed to prying into someone's personal life.
Right.
So what's your favorite position might be different than how do I make my classroom that could have LGBT people in it or LGBT kids in it, how can I make those LGBT kids feel included and comfortable?
I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for existing, Stevie. You do that on your channel, right? So I didn't introduce you this way, but you have a channel on YouTube. It's very successful. You're excellent. Comedy meets lesbian education, queer education.
Yeah.
Meets like civil rights and just generally being awesome and not sucking. And I think that you do a lot there that is lacking in the school systems. What are your favorite things that you have taught that people should check out?
Oh, I have a video called Literally How to Scissor, and I really like that one.
I like it too.
Especially for people that aren't queer, because it addresses a lot of things about like why a lot of lesbians might tell you no lesbian scissor, or they might be quiet about it, or why am I even making these videos? So, and I really like it because it teaches the difference between scissoring and tripping. And it was the first time I included animations in my videos, so I'm like really proud of it.
And you did such a great job.
Thank you.
That's fun.
Yeah, Literally How to Scissor, Lesbian Sex 101. I like that one.
With a TARDIS and scissors. And
You love the TARDIS.
well, I mean, I'm from the nerd community.
The
so
time-traveling scissors.
Yeah. And you make some really great points there about how the way we demonstrate it with our fingers is not physically possible unless all parties are in sex swings. And so, I think it's great. You make some great points and you teach some valuable lessons.
South Park popularized the scissoring being a thing. So many lesbians are
Really?
like, yeah, they like had it in a whole episode where they just like made scissoring jokes. So that's why everyone's like, oh, lesbian scissor, lesbian scissor. is like obviously because they are taught that like genitals on genitals is how sex works. So that must be how lesbians have sex. It's the first thing probably. But then also because they called it scissoring in South Park. And that's why.
Oh, South Park.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that we provide alternative sex education. So let's go back to sexual injustices. One that you and I are both super passionate about changing is the demonetization of channels on YouTube that have queer content, sex content, really anything that isn't what gets through, do you think?
I usually say Disney. The
Disney, you're
content
okay.
is fine.
You can have more money from other advertisers.
Yeah, I think that across the board, a lot of different genres of content are being demonetized across the platform, which de-incentivizes people to make content that isn't Disney. And we need content that isn't Disney. Holy fucking shit. That's why YouTube is so wonderful. So it's a lot. Isn't every sex educator is being hit, right?
To my knowledge, yeah. I
Yeah.
tweeted out to a bunch of us and said, how hard are you being hit? Because I just assumed that we all were. When I put out the How to Touch a Boob episode, it turned off my monetization on every video on the channel except about 5. So I was toward the end of that demonetization, but it's hit me now and it is in full force.
I can't believe How to Eat Ass wasn't the one that turned
Yeah,
it off.
seriously.
How to Eat Ass, totally fine. How to Touch a Boob, no. There's, oh my God, Lindsay.
What's up?
So your videos turned off as soon as it was a woman describing how to touch a boob.
I hear the points you are making. Oh yeah, you
know,
should.
I'm just playing
you
the gay
should tell
card.
them about the Just Between Us.
Oh yeah, so there's a channel called Just Between Us, which is amazing, like 2-woman comedy duo that do sketches. And Gabby Dunn is bisexual in real life and also as her character in the sketches. And so she'll have either, guys or girls as love interests in these sketches. And all of the videos that has a guy love interest are still monetized. And all of the one that she has a girl love interest are not.
So what you're saying is, Lindsay, look, if you're eating ass and you have a male partner and a female partner, then it's fine.
Yeah,
But
straight
you're
ass
getting
eating, fine.
hit
Gay ass
because
eating, not okay.
You have your hands are female hands touching a female's breast.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a leap because we can't, it's hard to prove. It's hard to be like, this is.
To a degree. I mean, I could bring up what isn't demonetized, but I think the last time I looked, things like blowjobs and anal sex were fine.
Wow.
And things like signs of child sexual abuse or signs of sexual abuse in general was demonetized almost as soon as I put it out.
Wow. Yeah. All mental health stuff is being demonetized too. Like if you have the word depression or anxiety or anything, all those tags are removed.
So do you think that we should not tag our videos or use manipulative tags to get
yeah, that's what people
away
keep
with
telling
it?
me. They're like, just don't call it lesbian. Call it something else. And I'm like, fuck you. No.
Because you want young lesbians or old lesbians or whomever needs the knowledge to be able to find you.
That's just like the most, I don't know, if you are just starting to realize you're queer, if you don't know if you don't know anything about queer sex, that's the people I want to find my videos. And so, of course, if they don't know anything about queer sex, lesbian is the first word they're going to use to try to search it, right? So, fuck that. Also, I'm a lesbian and I'm not going to lesbian's not a dirty word. Fuck that. No. Also, even if you don't use it in your titles and tags, YouTube uses those auto-generated captions where it guesses what you're saying in the video to figure out what the video topic is about for advertisers. So as far as I've been told, because people are doing a lot of experimentation, like, okay, if I do this in the video, if I say this and whatever. And I don't know. There's this girl who made a video. I forget she has a disability, and I forget what it is. But a lot of people with her disability tend to also have latex allergies. And so she made a whole video about products that you might use that secretly have latex in them, like toothbrush bristles. So that has a lot of the brands have latex in it. And so it could be making you sicker.
What?
So she made a whole video, but since she said the word latex, she's assuming, is why it got demonetized. Also, Ricky Pointer is a deaf YouTuber, and so she uses the word oral to describe deaf people that are taught how to be orally, instead of taught sign language
Yeah.
from birth, kind of, or from when they're
Yeah.
children. And if she says the word oral in her video, she's not even talking about sex, demonetized. It's so weird.
And so unfair because, like you said, YouTube exists for this very reason because it's a special place where everybody's voice gets heard, or, the people who have access to the internet. And those are often diverse minority voices that wouldn't otherwise have a platform.
Yeah. And we should be able to say oral and latex in videos without it being deemed not advertiser friendly.
We should be able to say lesbian.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely that too.
And all of the sexual things, because the consequence of that is that then you have unkind people doing unkind things.
They're just de-incentivizing queerness and also incentivizing censorship about lots of things. So like you just said, like, oh, should we be sneaky and do different tags and like blah, blah, blah? It's like, why the fuck?
Right.
Why are we even thinking about that? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because the victim should not have to change.
Yeah. And also it's like, even if that does work, why are queer people and people talking about sex who are trying to change the world having to take that extra step?
Yeah.
I could be, I don't know, writing a book or something instead of fucking trying to like send them emails about them demonetizing this video. Hey, I promise it's educational.
Because what you're saying is that one argument is, okay, when your stuff gets demonetized, just ask for a review and then they'll fix it and everything will be fine. And you're saying, I shouldn't have to take that extra step of asking for a review. You should fix your algorithm so that I don't get demonetized in the first place.
So all the straight people have this extra time compared to all of the gay people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, what?
Yeah.
And people seem to think that's a fix. And it's like, I guess, but also what I could be using that time for something else. Time is valuable, especially as YouTubers when we're doing a lot of things on our own. It's like 7 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
So.
What else pisses you off? What else can
Also,
we
for
fix in the
disabled
world?
people, they don't have a lot of spoons. What they need that time for something else, and also that could be supplementing their income.
Yes.
Ugh,
No,
so
I think we agree wholeheartedly that this is an injustice.
yeah,
And you were saying, too, that there might be some connection to racialized groups and them also having to ask for reviews or dealing with demonetization, et cetera.
well, that is mostly the brand deals. So brands see people of color audience as less valuable to them across the board, I think. And that's me taking a wild leap, but I don't think it's a wild leap. So just comparing me to my queer friends that are Black or of color, and just looking at the different prices that they offer me versus them is infuriating. So now they're being demonetized.
Because you're a white woman.
Right, yes, I'm white. So they're being demonetized for being queer, and then also not getting money for brand deals, or as much money for brand deals as their white counterparts. So it's like, fuck. Yeah.
Well, see, this is why
Injustice.
I love talking with you and other sex educators, well, just YouTubers in general, and saying, this is how much they sponsored me on this. This is how much I asked. This is how much I'll do it for, so that we're talking and we're making sure that there's some sort of standard that the brands and the advertisers, et cetera, have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's so
hold
important to
themselves
talk about numbers, but I mean, we're just like so terrified of sharing income and money and whatever. And a lot of brands put it in their contract that you're not allowed to tell anyone. We do anyway, by the way, guys. Nice try.
Maybe I
but
didn't see that in my contract. Like, I'm going to tell you everything.
Maybe they don't
People
want you to
need
say it
know.
publicly, but
Yeah.
we all
that
talk
makes
to
sense.
each other. We know when you're being racist.
Yeah. Okay. So what else pisses you off?
Oh,
Around
another
sex.
thing I was going to say is to like actually try to hammer it home is that, so if you are making videos about giving a man a blowjob and that is not demonetized, but you make a video about lesbians eating each other's pussies and that does get demonetized, you'll be more incentivized monetarily to make more videos about blowjobs than you would about eating pussy.
Yes.
So that's why it's fucking dangerous.
Well, and like you were saying earlier, if you are a creator having a hard time supporting yourself to begin with, and you are being penalized because you are one of these groups that is getting targeted, then you're less likely to make the content as a whole, not even certain kinds. You might just not be able to sustain it, and then we lose that precious, diverse voice.
Yeah. A lot of queer creators have quit already, and it's only been a few months.
So who are some of the queer creators that you would recommend we check out so that we can support and validate their work?
Foxy Hot Mess.
Okay.
She's fucking hilarious, talks about pop culture. She's a black lesbian. Think she identifies as a lesbian. She could identify as queer, so sorry if she doesn't. Ari Fitz is so wonderful. She does a lot of fashion stuff for like androgynous women. Makes some like powerful, like filmy art. Heartbeat is so great, hilarious, wonderful, body positive content, so good. Who else? I think 3 is good.
Yeah. I mean, there is an enormous list. Not big enough, but far more representation on YouTube than what we see in mainstream media.
Yes.
And, so many places where people can go to hear people like them. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about YouTube the most.
It's so great.
And we could check out you.
Yeah, youtube.com/Stevie.
Yeah, that's good. It's great. So I would say the injustices that I'm most pissed off about right now are definitely sex education and how it's not expected to be medically accurate worldwide, not even nationwide. That's infuriating to me that it's okay for so-called educators to give out lies. That's horrible.
When you made your hymen video, I sent it to everyone I know.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Every single one of them did not know.
What?
Yeah. Popping the hymen is like popping the cherry. Everyone believes it's fucking true. It's so mind-blowing.
And it shouldn't be. Just like so I've done a couple videos about the clitoris and the foreskin that covers it and the smegma that can build up between that foreskin and the head of the clit. And people don't know that. I just did a conference in Minnesota to a group of sex educators, and just watching their faces and being able to clock what's going on in their head and thinking, oh my gosh, you don't know that you need to be cleaning your own body. And so you're not teaching your students that they need to be cleaning their own bodies. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I learned so much from that video too, about the different kinds of hymens and the ones that have like the 3 holes or 2 holes.
Yeah.
That was so interesting.
It makes me wish I had known all of that information before I had ever had any penetrative anything so that I could see.
Wait, you
what
wish
my
you
hymen was
knew?
like.
You wish that you were educated about sex before you had sex?
Can
Weird.
you? What? Isn't that wild? Yeah, I was talking to Aaron Carroll, who is a medical doctor in Indianapolis, and he was saying that when you go to get an HPV vaccine, so Gardasil to prevent cervical cancer, that you need to do it before you become sexually active. So these parents will bring in their kiddos and they're freaking out like, I don't want to give my kid this like sex preventative vaccine. And he's telling them, yeah, you need to do this before they have any sort of genital contact. So you're looking at like ages 11, 12, 13.
Do they think that if you give them the vaccine, it's going to make them go and fuck everyone? Like what?
Oh, yeah. Just like if you provide kids with access to contraception or if you give them comprehensive sex education.
And the opposite is true.
Exactly. But it all comes back to ignorance.
Yeah.
It's the injustice, though, that's so hard for me because if you want to be ignorant and that's your choice, okay, but you don't get to tell other people that they shouldn't have knowledge if they want it.
Yeah, very true. My most recent video is called How to Eat Pussy, and I premiered it at Buffer Festival but I was on a panel with lots of other creators and it was a women on YouTube panel. So they were talking about various different things. And so all the people came to see just the women on YouTube panel, not knowing that How to Eat Pussy was going to be on it. So a lot of like teens came in with their moms or dads.
I love it, Stevie.
And so
oh my gosh, it
afterwards-
makes me so happy.
It was so great. Afterwards, like a couple parents like came up to me and was like, "That your video was so good. Thank you so much." It was a little awkward though, because like you're talking about vulvas in front of my kid, and I was like, "Does your kid have a vulva?" And they're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Why the fuck is that awkward?" They're like 17. Like what?
Yeah.
Why haven't you talked to your kid about what is happening?
Yeah.
So, they kind of got it, I guess, but I don't know. Why is it icky? I just don't understand why that's weird.
Oh, I mean, because we come from a puritanical culture
Tell me.
that
Teach me.
shames masturbation among hundreds of other behaviors because we don't want to look at our own sins, so to speak. And so if we can mark something that somebody else has that we don't, then we just shame them to feel better about ourselves. And it's horrible.
I just recently found out that in Anne Frank's diary, the first publication, they removed her describing her vulva and then removed her writing in her diary about asking her mom about the clit. She asked her, like, "What's this hump?" And then her mom was like, "I don't know." And then Anne was just like, "She knows." She's like, what are you talking about? And I feel like, why don't we just go, "This is the clit. This is what the vulva looks like."
Yeah.
Because we do that to kids that have penises and testicles.
Yep.
I mean, probably maybe not all the time, but definitely more frequently.
Well, think about the little rhymes that we have for their toes to teach them about their
Yeah.
toes and their fingers and yeah.
We also have fucking rhymes and flashcards to teach them what fucking lions and bears are. Well, you have bears here, but where I'm from, there's no fucking bears. They're not going to come into contact with a bear probably in their entire life. They will come into contact with their own fucking genitals.
Yeah. Or someone else's.
Yeah.
We both agree. This is very messed up. It's unjust. There's a problem that needs to be fixed. So what's the solution?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Making fun of parents that tell me it's weird to talk to their kids in public bathrooms after I ask them for a tampon.
I think our channels are part
Yeah.
of the solution. I think that passing legislation so that mandatory medically accurate sex education is happening in schools is a solution.
I can't believe it doesn't have to be medically accurate.
Oh yeah. It's heartbreaking.
Do they have other things that have to be accurate? Because, I mean, we know history doesn't have to be in schools, but...
Yeah. I'm
Sorry.
and I've
Different
seen
topic.
people who don't learn accurate grammar, but I don't think that
Ooh,
that's
we could
because
debate about that.
teachers are intentionally trying to do harm. I guess they're not intentionally trying to do harm, but they're depriving people of what is true. I think that the teachers just don't know English grammar, and so they pass that on to their students.
Wow.
And I think that the history or the science thing is because...
Do you think grammar is important?
Do I?
Yes, because I do not. I think that there are so many different languages within the English language and slang and all of that. If it's looked down upon, a lot of times it's people in marginalized groups that develop different ways of speaking, slangs, and different grammar. So if you're telling them this is the right way, it's kind of like making them feel less than after they already do. So I think that if we hold up
Yeah.
this like, this is the right way to speak English, so everyone should write all their essays this way instead of teaching the person how to write in their own voice that they already have and they've already learned from their community, is like kind of fucked up.
I'm going to have to think more about that, Stevie. I come from a background of academia and that there is a there Their and a there There.
When do you
and
think
a
that'll go away?
They''re.
Do you think there's just going to be one there soon? Does that scare the shit out of you?
My gaping mouth.
You guys, I wish you could see her face. This is great.
Gonna what? No. Ah.
Especially with the internet. Language is like evolving so quickly to where everybody's accepting misspellings of certain words.
Well, it's evolving so quickly that we are telling people the words they're using now are not okay. I've been lectured on the use of genitals as a word. I've been lectured
Instead of what?
I don't know. There wasn't an alternative option, anatomy. But even reproduction marks them as having a singular purpose because genitals referring to the beginning or life, like life parts
Oh, because of the
versus pleasure parts.
because of the phonetics of the word or the etymology implies. That's weird.
Well, but we're doing that with all of sexuality's language.
Yeah. I
Like,
just never
what
thought of
does
that.
woman mean? And
Yeah.
what is gender? And can I identify? Yeah, let's go to the questions that
Yay!
people asked.
We should
the
definitely
one
have
that's
this
been
convo later,
pissing
though.
you off is,
Oh,
can I
God.
identify?
Wait. Are we going
you
to
want-
talk about this?
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up right now. I posted on Twitter that Stevie would be here and I wanted your lesbian question.
Wait, I got to do some caveats. I've never been asked this question. I've never thought about it until very recently. I do not have a fully formed opinion, but I have my feelings I can share, and they are probably definitely going to change or evolve later. And this is just how I feel, and it's a lot of feelings.
You do have a lot of feelings.
Yes, because it blew my fucking mind, because I was like, wait, I want to be trans inclusive, but I don't like this.
I'm going through so many questions here. Do you remember which one that was?
I have it liked. Let's see. So the question is from Pumpkin Spice, and it says, if a person is gender non-binary but assigned male at birth, does it offend you if they identify as a lesbian? I don't really subscribe to the idea of telling other people what they're allowed to identify as. Mm-hmm. But they're asking if it bothers me. I would never tell someone that they can't identify as. Oh, maybe I would.
Well, now
I probably
we're
would
back to
never tell someone you can't identify as that, because the whole point of identities is so that we can better interact with the world and find out, whatever. But
language.
Also, non-binary is such an umbrella term. So it could mean so many things. So I don't know, is this person that is assigned male at birth, do they feel like a woman sometimes? Are they gender fluid? Or do they wake up one day and feel like a woman and wake up another day and feel like a man? Why do they want to use the word lesbian, I think, is what I would ask. But then I was thinking, well, fuck, I don't have any problems with non-binary people that were assigned female at birth to still use the word lesbian. And I was telling you yesterday that, like, that's because a lot of trans people, non-binary people, they come out as a lesbian first if they're assigned female at birth, right? So then they become part of the lesbian community. And so that was like one of the first identities that they identified with. And then they're like, wait, I'm not a woman, but I still really like the term lesbian because that gave me like comfort for the first time, and like the queer community and all of that. So I have no problems with people that are assigned female at birth saying that. But I don't know. I think that my answer is, if the person doesn't identify as a woman and never has, then why are they trying to say they're a lesbian, I guess?
Okay. So more questions for the question?
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't think that I am qualified to answer it. And I also don't think that my opinion matters in this case, because it's not something where I'm educating another human being or where I am doing sexual health or prevention or protection or anything like that. I feel like this is a conversation about identity, which is so controversial right now that it's in the midst of a major change, and I'm happy to be part of that change in those conversations. But until we find a place where we're speaking similar languages,
Yeah, we're all
ready
trying to
like,
figure it out, and it's so confusing right now. But I'm glad it is, because it's making people think about it a lot. And so we're like creating new terms and new ways to say things, and it's so exciting, but it's also fucking terrifying if you have a platform and you don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yep.
And you don't want to hurt people, because trans people are being fucking murdered for being trans everywhere. So it's like, obviously you want to help. I don't know. Hopefully. most people.
Not help murder, but help
Right.
them. Yes, yes.
Yes, help trans people, not be murdered and not feel bad
Right.
and feel welcome, especially in the queer community. But yeah, I'm excited to hear about the response of this and also terrified.
I'm excited to get to a place where we're agreeing on terms and it's not a constant, for me at least, movement between people criticizing others for how they speak or criticizing them for not saying anything at all because they're afraid to. It's like, how do we hold spaces for everyone in this conversation? Okay, more questions for you. Do you guys actually hate bisexuals, or is it all in our heads? You guys being, you are the representation of
I'm
lesbian.
representing all lesbians, and now I will speak for them. No, I think that I have definitely noticed some shitty stuff that lesbians say or do towards bisexuals. And a lot of it, in my opinion, comes from insecurity and biphobia and slut shaming and all of that stuff. But I think that I also know tons of lesbians that fight for bisexuals and argue with other lesbians when no bisexuals are around about not doing that anymore and why it's not okay to do it anymore. So, but I definitely don't think it's all in your head. But I just want to say, if there are any bisexual girls listening right now, queer spaces are your fucking spaces too, and you are allowed to take up space there. And if anyone makes you feel like you're not, fuck them.
Oh, cheering. I'm cheering. That's beautiful. Yeah, you are one of those lesbian women who are so loving toward bisexual women, holding space for them, advocating for them, telling others who aren't being kind to shut up.
It's so weird because it's like, we're all queer women. I don't understand why. I don't know. It's also, what is it called? It's called lateral prejudice, when a marginalized group discriminates against someone that's lower because they learned it from their oppressors. So, and that's what we're doing to bisexuals and trans people, trans women in the community. And I don't think people realize that it's subconscious. So,
Terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, more questions for you. How do you tell a girl you like them if you're not sure whether or not they're gay?
Well, you should be like, yo, you gay? And then when they're like, yes or no, either way, you could be like, well, I have a crush on you, so just want to clear that up.
Stevie made a crushes video on her channel about all of her. They were all your queer crushes?
Queer questioning crushes. But they're all YouTubers, so. And I described all of them. I also have a video called I think it's Are You in Love with Your Best Friend is the name of the video. And it's how to tell a friend that you like them and why you should tell them if you like them.
So you can watch that video and learn how, and then you can make a video about all of your crushes and let them know that you're super into them. And then they'll tweet you and be like, I saw your video. You're my crush too. What cute aesthetic LGBT Instagram gals should I follow?
Oh, God. I'm on a mission to make a master list of this now because I need more queer aesthetic, what's the word? Traditionally beautiful women. Is that the word? Traditional femininity or, I don't know, whatever. Alternative beauty? No, that's not good either. I don't know. You guys know what I mean. Instagrams to follow so I can be inspired because I don't know fashion. But fuck, who could I think of right now?
Because you're saying that aesthetic LGBT is referring to dressing in a way that expresses a queer identity?
Yeah, I guess. I think that historically queer women have rejected, or I guess maybe after third wave feminism, they kind of rejected traditional beauty standards and burned their bras and no one I know wears bras anyway. But that's not
I'm
true.
not wearing a bra. It makes me so happy. I hate them.
So yeah, it's a different aesthetic, but it's also a way for us to be able to identify each other. So there's certain things that we do so that we can know who's gay.
So you're going to make a master list on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then you'll share it with people?
Hey guys, send me your queer aesthetic Instagram profiles.
Yeah. at Stevie Boebi on Twitter. And what are you on Instagram?
At Sassy Bob. I'm hoping to change that soon.
Yeah?
Phasing out Sassy Bob.
Oh, okay. What do you think about straight people?
What do I think about them? I don't know. They're cool, I guess.
Depends on which one. Do you think lesbians sexualize the female body differently than hetero males? And if so, how?
Whew. What a fucking question I would want to make an entire video about. I think that straight dudes are taught to look at a woman in a certain way and treat a woman a certain way based on media and like that women's bodies are commodity. So like when you marry them, you're owning them and you have to chase it and that's because it's a rare thing that you can get, that pussy, you know?
And guard it. Like,
Yeah,
don't
and so
let
then
anyone
women, they need to
else-
guard it and like pretend like they don't want it when they actually do, and it's all a shit show. So I feel like lesbians, or at least, lesbians or queer women know what that feels like, and so they're like in on it. So they're just like, yeah, the fucking objectification is bullshit, and I'm gonna see you as a whole person because I'm a whole person, and this is all bullshit because we've been the like brunt of the joke or of the of everything. So yeah, and obviously objectification isn't bad, but when it's 100% of the time you see a woman, obviously it's bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it is different. And also like navigating men are the ones that pursue and women are the ones that are pursued. So what happens when it's two women? You know?
Tell us, Stevie, what happens when there are two women?
I don't know. I think lots of people do different things. Like, I don't know. I was just
Well,
reading.
in heterosexual couples,
Yeah.
often the woman will be pursuing the man. It's really more of a personality thing.
Yes, definitely. And so, but at the same time, we have been coached or taught how we're supposed to act as women. And so, yeah, there are exceptions to the rule, but the rule is still there. And so a lot of times I've seen a lot of like issues with like, oh, well, what do I do? Does she really like me? I don't know. What's going on. Instead of like, because you don't know whose role it is, you know? But I feel like that does open the door more to people having no expectations when flirting and when fucking and when dating and all of those things instead of, well, the hunter and then the hunted. The hunter has this expectation and they're going to make that expectation happen instead of, hey, do you want me to do this? What do you want? Instead of like, hey, I'm going to take you out on this day, which like, I don't know, that's a bad example, but I don't know.
You're doing great. And also, knowing you, a lot of these questions will come up in your videos and have already where you just take on sexuality in such a beautiful way. Where you're just like, hey, look at me. I'm the sexual person. Here's how I flop around in these conversations and figure them out. And sometimes I nail it and other times I don't. And I'm going to model that for you on my channel and you're going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. All right. Last question. Do you have a favorite?
I do.
Ooh, okay. Go for it.
How do you combat femme invisibility? I could have sex in front of God herself with a woman and would still be questioned. I think that it's not just femmes that are questioned. It's all lesbians because who teaches us that everybody wants a dick? Is it the whole world? Because it's porn. Most of the queer representation we have in movies and TV shows, either they're bisexual and then they end up with a man because their lesbian romantic interest dies every fucking time. So it's like, I don't know.
Okay, so
How do you combat femme invisibility?
and what you mean by that, or what the person asking the question means, is
Feminine lesbians don't have a lot of representation, so people don't think that feminine lesbians are real lesbians. They think that, I'm attracted to you as a man, so you must like men. If you're unattractive, then like obviously that's why you can't get a man. So that's why you're having sex with other unattractive women. But if you have sex with an attractive woman, I'm going to question her true identity too now. How do you combat?
so messed up, Stevie. Oh my gosh.
Yep. How do you combat that? Living out and proud and I don't know. When I first came out, I told a lot of people do this and it might be annoying, but I don't care. I still do. I tell every person I meet I'm a lesbian.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a lesbian. Hi, I'm a lesbian. Hi, I'm a lesbian. That helps. Also being out and coming out and posting stuff on the internet, be it videos or Instagram photos or contributing during Pride Month, coming out to Pride, being more visible in your identity and sharing that with people if you're safe to do it, combats that. How I could have sex with God in front of God herself. I love that you said herself and still be questioned. I think also that a lot of times we get really defensive about being questioned instead of using it as a learning opportunity, because a lot of people don't really have ulterior motives. They've just been taught certain things. And so instead of, react however you want. It's totally justified if you're pissed off about it. But if you can try to turn it into a teachable moment instead of how fucking dare you, that could contribute to helping it instead of hurting it.
So,
or just shave your head. I don't know.
A little bit of making sure that you're out there as the example that people keep denying, and then also being willing to do some education. I would add for the people who are part of the problem that we can make sure that we're watching and participating in queer content and like supporting you as creators and human beings and relationships, and just saying like, yeah, Stevie, I'm so happy for you and your partners, and validating that rather than being like, so when are you gonna date a dude, or when are you gonna date me, the dude, or whatever that is. Yeah.
Can I watch?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That is a sexual injustice. It's shitty that your sexuality is questioned. That's something that is so core to your identity is being poked at, and I'm really sorry that happens.
Yeah. It's getting better, I hope? ?
I think it is, and I think that is in part due to people like yourself.
And we're casting more
here I am.
casting more feminine actresses to play lesbian characters and stuff, which is really cool. I wish that they were actually queer actresses, so people wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, obviously that's not what a real lesbian looks like," That would help.
Maybe we'll see you in a movie soon, Stevie.
Oh God, I can't act. There are so many beautiful, wonderful queer women who can and are acting. But they're always like, the feminine ones are always cast as the straight person, and then they always cast a straight person as a lesbian. It's like, what? There's so many queer. But okay, whatever.
Well, you've done a great job today on the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. We have 2 more things to do really quickly.
Okay.
1, we're gonna do Kegels.
Main squeeze it good.
We're gonna do a speed version.
Speed version.
Yep. I'm just gonna count to 8, and so just clench them like boom, 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 boom.
Like rhythmically, or just stay there?
Rhythmically.
Okay, got it.
And then if your mind can think about it at the same time, we need to come up with a homework assignment to give the audience. So, ready? Kegels? Clenching? I'll count. We'll squeeze. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yay.
And of course, keep doing them if you choose. Do you have any ideas about a homework assignment?
Now you can practice at home. Dr. Doe gives you extra credit.
Homework assignment. I don't know, Kegels?
Yeah, do more and watch Stevie's videos. The whole Lesbian Sex series. Lesbian Sex 101 series. Or not, it's not 101. I'm thinking of...
Lesbian Sex 101.
Oh,
Let's
who am I
go.
thinking of? Girl Sex 101 too. Yeah, Lesbian Sex 101. Watch the whole series.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And more will come. Haha. Okay, thank you, Stevie. Thank you to Complexly and Cinema Studios for production, Count Boogie for the jingles, and Cora and Paro, I'm Still Learning.